have an object. Who else had breakfast? What'd you have? Yeah, Brendan. You had what? What? Oh, Crave cereal. I'm sorry. Crave brand cereal. Cool. What's for lunch, Roy? Chicken rice? What's for dinner, Olivia? Pasta. Yeah. Now, I want to do something with that lunch value. I want to have my own a separate variable with that. So I could say const lunch equals meals dot lunch, right? And we know, of course, that you can also use square brackets. It is? Yes. Cool. Today I learned that it exists and how to spell it. Okay. Kids and their cereals today. Okay. So I could do this, right? But that is too much work. Wouldn't it be cool if I could do something like this? What? Does it work? Yarp. Chicken rice. So this is called destructuring assignment. You're creating a new variable from one or more of the properties from the object. So may not be a super clear benefit here, but what if I say lunch and dinner? Is dinner set? Yeah. So I just created two variables out of the properties of this object. And you can do it with arrays. So say we've got const pastas, spaghetti, fettuccine, penne, and I say const first pasta, second pasta, third pasta equals pastas. Console log, second pasta, fettuccine. So create variables out of the items in an array or the properties of an object. Why would I want to do that? May not be immediately obvious. But it's not that uncommon to try to do something like this. But check this out. What if I had a method and it's going to receive all of these meals, but I'm really only interested in one of them? Function, eat it. Console log. Nom nom. Curses. Nom nom. Not npm. Meals dot lunch. I could also do this. We know the whole object is being passed in. Or, well, I'll prove it. Eat it, meals, right? There goes. Nom nom chicken rice. So I know that's being passed in, but I only want the lunch out of there inside this function. What if I do that destructuring inside the argument list? It still works. Suppose I happen to have an object with a clever name like props. And it happened to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and current note. And I had something like function display the dang note. And it was out of my control. Display the dang note. It's going to receive all these props. Yes, I could still say, I can still call this props. Nom nom. Props.lunch. Props.note. .title. Our current note, right? Nom nom woot. But I could also destructure that and just get the note out and call it note instead of current note. Doesn't matter. I can rename it. Oh, no, actually, it does matter here. Then I could just call it current note .title. So we could be doing that here. We're getting any number of props here. In order to tell what this is dependent on, to kind of identify the dependencies of this component, we have to comb through and look for the reference to each prop to know which props are actually important, which ones need to be here. Or we could destructure them up here, list all the ones we know we need. So we need notes, current note, and set current note, which kind of makes this slightly more self-documenting, and it means we don't have to say props.notes. Well, if I had said notes, which I meant to, props.notes, I can just say notes. And instead of props.setCurrentNote, I can just call it setCurrentNote. So the props are still what's being passed in as the argument, but I can destructure it and create new local variables out of each of the properties of that object. And as we saw on CodePen, it doesn't matter that there are more properties than we used.
So, just for clarity's sake,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to destructure whatever object you throw into that. So, like if you threw in an object that didn't have notes, current note, or set current note,
Mm-hmm.
even though you probably wouldn't be doing that anyway, it would just not work right.
Undefined. But that does actually raise an interesting question. It does give you the opportunity to set a default value. You can't set default values for arguments in JavaScript, but you can if you do this. Or it's colon probably, right? It's colon. Reverse Mick gloopers. Maybe it is equal. I forget. Yeah. Nom nom gloopers. Now, if there were a property called poopers on this thing, diddly oopers, nom 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 diddly oopers. So it does let you set default values, actually. So we can use this destructuring trick to our heart's content, if you want. So in note, I will go again left to right. Sidebar doesn't have any props. Note list, I have props.notes and props.setCurrentNote. So I could again destructure them up here in the argument list. Notes and set current note. So instead of props.notes here, it's notes. Instead of props.notes here, it's notes. Instead of props.setCurrentNote, it is just setCurrentNote. Down in note, I could just destructure and get the note out of there. Instead of props.notes, it would be note. Instead of props.note, it would be just note, etc. Have we broken everything yet? Yes. I still have one reference to props here. Props.setCurrentNote. Thank you. Yes, the P is silent. Now, all this handle click does is call setCurrentNote. Could setCurrentNote just be the event handler? I guess, and we could use bind to pass in the argument. Since we are passing in an argument, it might be easier to do it this way. It is still kind of tempting in the on click here to just do something like this. You can totally do that. I'm not going to insist that you do, but you'll see that kind of thing a lot. Might not be worth creating a whole separate function for something that simple. And note form then, we have props.currentNote. Now, in this case, this is a class, so the props aren't being passed in as an arg. I could still, inside the render function, say const current node equals this.props.currentNote. Or if I just enjoy destructuring so much, I could do that. But if there's just one, that doesn't exactly gain us anything. And then change these from this.props. This.props.currentNote.title, that is a lot of dots. That's too many dots. Do you understand why we had to do it this way this time? I'm just making a local variable inside the render function holding the current node out of props. because the props aren't coming in as an argument now. Still work? Still works. Use destructuring assignment on props. Makes our JSX look a little nicer. Questions? It's another one of those things, if you don't understand exactly how it works, you can still kind of get used to the pattern. That like, oh, this is what I should do with my props. We'll be doing it a lot more, so you'll see more examples.